Hello friends, welcome to this lecture in which we are going to discuss regarding the hydrology in unit number 1. As you are aware that in the school also we have studied regarding the hydrology. Those who are from the Marathi medium, they know it as a Jala Chakra. The hydrology is playing very vital role in the water resources engineering. Now, as you know that the hydrology, it is the term which is formed by two Greek words as hydr means water and logos means study, and it is a scientific study of movement, distribution, and management of water on earth and the surfaces, you can say, including the water cycle, water resources, and environmental watershed sustainability. A practitioner of hydrology is called a hydrologist, and hydrologists are scientists studying the earth and environmental science, civil and environmental engineering, and physical geography. Using various analytical methods and scientific techniques, they uh, collect the data and analyze the data to help the or to solve the water related problems such as environmental preservation, natural disasters, and water management. Especially from our point of view, water management is important, and we are going to study this. So today we'll study the all the aspects which are associated with the hydrology. Hydrology means the science of water. It is a science that deals with the occurrence, circulation, and distribution of water of the earth and the earth's atmosphere. As a branch of earth science, it is concerned with the water in streams and lakes, rainfall and snowfall, snow and ice on the land, and the water occurring below the earth's surface in the pores of the soil and rocks. In general, hydrology is a very broad subject of an interdisciplinary nature, drawing support from allied sciences such as meteorology, geology, statistics, chemistry, physics, and fluid mechanics. So friends, here we have to remember all the basic sciences that we have studied. Okay, we are going to utilize in the this hydrology study. Hydrologic cycle. Water occurs on the earth in all its three states as liquid, solid, and gaseous, and in the various degrees of motion. Evaporation of water from water bodies such as oceans and lakes, formation and movement of clouds, rain and snowfall, stream flow, and groundwater movement are some example of the dynamic aspect of water. The various aspects of water related to the earth can be explained in the terms of cycle known as hydrologic cycle. Okay, now by various ways we can represent the hydrologic cycle. Okay, here it is also even a very good animated example is shown here, where we can see the water body is there, which is ocean. Evaporation take place, the mountains, you can see the clouds are there, or snow is melting there, the precipitation is there, sun is there for which is temperature. Okay, so you can see here the waterfall, the evaporation there, transpiration actually from the trees there, clouds again, the rain, precipitation is called as. This is the simplest model we have studied in the elementary, remember. Okay, then we can show this particular model in the various ways to understand the terms. Okay, here is again one of the model is shown here. You can see the this green part, which is a vegetation, and the water release from this, it is a transpiration. The you can see the clouds shown here. Okay, which is a rain is there, which is called as a precipitation. And what are the terms associated with this? It is the temperature, and you can say the cool temperature and its effects. Okay, so precipitation take place, the water which flows on the surface of the earth surface, it is called as a runoff. Okay, this is the infiltration of the water. Okay, this is a deep water, you can say deep surface is there at depth. Okay, the aquifers are there. This is water body again, and that may be the, and there are various discrete bodies, water bodies from where the water evaporates. Okay, so this is the one of the way again to show the, again one of the very simplest form you can see here. Okay, So let's start from this water body itself. The evaporation take place, the condensation of the water is there, the water is transported in the clouds are being hurdled by this hilly area, precipitation take place. Okay, the water flows on the surface of the earth, it is runoff. Transpiration, the water released from the vegetation or the green cover or the trees, you can say it is a transpiration. Then water which percolates in the downward direction, it is called as infiltration. Okay, then this is especially a groundwater hydrology, subsoil, interflow, percolation, bedrock, aquifer. Again, deep aquifer and deep layers are there. Okay, this is again one of the simplest way to understand the terms. Okay, here again one especially I am showing all these various you can say the pictorial presentation to understand all these terms, so that uh, we can form the mathematical expressions afterwards for this. Okay, again we can start from the this water body, you can see the evaporation from the ocean. Okay, again you can see the precipitation is there, sun is the main component of all these. Okay, which is form changes in the temperature, you can say. Okay, moisture over the land, you can say land which is coming here. Again precipitation takes place, infiltration, subsurface flow, again you can see the evapotranspiration is also there. Okay, so groundwater flow, groundwater outflow, okay, which is again meeting to the water body. Okay, so friend, remember the various ways, but we'll have to remember the figure, remember that will represent it in the more scientific way. Okay, here again one more the pictorial presentation is there. So water, it is called as a water cycle or a hydrologic cycle. Okay, which is associated with the same terminology. Okay, now you can see this is the figure by which we can represent it. So let's start with this 0 to 9 number, so that we can understand. The 0 stands for the evaporation from the ocean which comes here. Okay, the water because of temperature the evaporation takes place. Okay, that is shown here. Then first one again raindrop evaporation. Okay, first is shown here, evaporation. Then second, interception, water is intercepted there. Then transpiration, third one, the transpiration is there. Okay, water which is released from the trees and this. Okay, it is a transpiration. Then fourth one is the evaporation from the land. Okay, fourth one is shown here, the evaporation is land. Fifth one is evaporation from the water bodies. Various water bodies are there, as I shown there, discrete water bodies are there. So evaporation from those water bodies. Subsurface runoff, number 6. Okay, you can see the subsurface runoff is there. Okay, which is sorry, it is a surface runoff. Okay, then infiltration, number 7. Okay, which is here, the water which percolates in downward direction, it is a infiltration. Number 8, groundwater. Okay, you can see this is groundwater. And number 9, as I told earlier, deep percolation is there. Okay, so this is the diagram which we can represent. Let's move further. Water in the ocean evaporates due to the heat energy provided by solar radiation. The water vapor moves upwards and form clouds, while much of the clouds condense and fall back to the oceans as rain. A part of the clouds is driven to the land areas by winds. There they condense and precipitate onto the landmass as rain, snow, hail, sleet, etc. A part of the precipitation may evaporate back to the atmosphere even while falling. Another part may be intercepted by the vegetation, structures and other such surface modifications, from which it may be either evaporated back to the atmosphere or moved down to the ground surface. Okay, so this process is explained how the water movement is there. A portion of the water that reaches the ground enters the earth surface through infiltration, enhances the moisture content of the soil and reaches the groundwater body. That's why the groundwater is available, because the infiltration takes place, isn't it? Vegetation sends a portion of the water from the from under the ground surface back to the atmosphere through the process of transpiration. The precipitation reaching the ground surface after meeting the needs of infiltration and evaporation moves down the natural slope over the surface and through the network of gullies, streams, and rivers to reach the oceans. Okay, these are the various ways by which the water reaches to the ocean. The groundwater may come to the surface through springs and other outlets after spending a considerable longer time than the surface flow. Okay, the springs that you can understand, the portion of the precipitation which by a variety of paths above and below the surface of the earth reaches the stream channel is called runoff. Once it enters a stream channel, runoff becomes stream flow. When the runoff that get mixed in the flowing water body, it is called the stream flow. The sequence of events as above is a simplistic picture of very complex cycle that has been taking place since the formation of the earth. It is seen that the hydrologic cycle is a very vast and complicated cycle in which there are a large number of paths of varying time scale. Further, it is a continuous recirculating cycle in the sense that there is neither a beginning nor an end or a pause. Okay, there is a no pause, my dear friends. If the pause is there, so we'll have the you can say the face lot of problems. Each path of the hydrologic cycle involves one or more of the following aspects as transportation of water, temporary storage, change of state. For example, the process of rainfall has a change of state and transportation. The groundwater path has storage and transportation aspects. Now, this is very important here. Please remember this. The main components of the hydrologic cycle can be broadly classified as transportation, flow, can say, or flow components, and storage component as below. Now, the transportation components, please remember this: precipitation, evaporation, transpiration, infiltration, runoff. And storage components: storage on the land surface, depression storage, ponds, lakes, reservoirs, etc. Soil moisture storage, groundwater storage. Okay, so please remember these two categories. Now, this is again we can say the transportation components of the hydrologic cycle that we have just in two categories. And please remember this figure by how it can be categorized, how the infiltration is shown, how the precipitation is shown, how the stream flow is shown, how the interflow is shown. This is the base flow, groundwater flow, etc. Evapotranspiration. The interdependency of the transportation components can be represented as shown in the figure. The quantities of water going through various paths of the hydrologic cycle in a given system can be described by continuity principle known as water budget equation or hydrologic equation. Now, this is a very important term, water budget equation and hydrologic equation. So, here we are going to study the mathematical formulation of that. If the terms are there, evaporation, transpiration, evapotranspiration, infiltration, all this can be modeled into the mathematical terms, and that we are going to study in the coming lectures. It is important to note that the total water resources of the earth is constant and the sun is the source of energy for the hydrologic cycle. As I told in the first slide itself that sun is the source of the energy for the hydrological cycle, who is making it possible, isn't it, friends? A recognition of the various processes such as evaporation, precipitation, and groundwater flow helps one to study the science of hydrology in a systematic way. Also, one realizes that humans can interfere with virtually any part of the hydraulic cycle, for example, through artificial rain, evaporation suppression, change of vegetal cover and land use, extraction of groundwater, etc. Interference of at one stage can cause serious repercussions at some other stage of the cycle. So human interference is not at all expected there, but even though if the human is interfering the natural processes, so it is hampering this hydrologic cycle, and you know the effects of that. Okay, the hydrological cycle has important influences in a variety of fields, including agriculture, forestry, geography, economics, sociology, and politics. Engineering applications of the knowledge of the hydrologic cycle and hence of the subjects of the hydrology are found in the design and operation of projects dealing with the water supply, irrigation and drainage, water power, flood control, navigation, coastal works, salinity control, and recreational uses of the water. Friends, this particular subject, water resources engineering, that where we can do the innovative work, where we can carry out various modeling, various studies on the various water bodies, and also we can do miracles as a project. So always whenever we are discussing any research project or any academic projects, we are generally associated with either the concretes or any material or which is associated with construction. Okay, but this is the area where we can do the research and we can do good projects there. Okay, so that part just I am telling as a to remember this in the coming time, that we can do, we can handle with this. So with this we are coming to the end of this today's lecture. So today the hydrology in the simplest sense, again you can see the last slide also is showing the various aspects which are associated with the hydrology. And my dear friends, that hydrology and its components today that we have studied, that we have to mathematically model. In the coming lectures we are going to study on this. So water resources, as I told earlier as well, that it is a very interesting area where we can explore our ideas in terms of projects and in terms of the research. Okay, so meet you in the coming lectures. Thank you very much for joining today's session.